everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to start chapter 1 Python revision 2 for CBSE. I just want to give a small introduction about Python. It was created by Guido van Rossum and in the year 1991. So it was not a new language. It was released a long before. And he got impressed by comedy series from 70s Monty Python's Flying Circus. After that only he had given the name called Python. And it can be used to follow both procedural approach and object oriented approach for programming. So what is the meaning of procedural approach? So just remember, procedural approach is focusing only to create a lot of function and it is not going to give any importance to data in the program. Okay, so it has very less security. But some of the application, if you want to create with less security, you can go with the procedural approach. For example, C languages, it is called a procedural approach. If you want to prepare a calculator application, so do you want any security for that? It's not necessary, right? So for that reason, they will follow the procedural approach. And if you have a washing machine also, there is a small computer or programming inside it, right? So for to prepare that also, they are following the procedural approach. But when you're taking the object oriented approach, it will be giving lot of security based. For example, if you're preparing the net banking, so net banking, of course, we need lot of secured base application, right? So then you have to follow what? Object oriented approach. So the first object oriented approach, it becomes C++. I hope everyone is clear with what is the meaning of procedural and object oriented approach. Okay. The next point, it is free to use, which means you can download the basic ideally or any other platform for Python freely. It is from the internet and it is based on influenced with two programming language. One we can call it as a ABC language, another one is a Modula 3. So the first concept in Python is tokens. What is the meaning of tokens? It is the smallest individual unit in a program. So individual unit means it can be a semicolon, colon or full stop, anything. If you're giving a space also, that we can call it as a tokens. Okay, so here we are going to see what are the type of tokens are available. The first one is a keywords, second one identifiers, third one literals, operators and punctuators. So here the very important concept is operators and identifiers. Okay, now next one, what is the meaning of keyword? So keywords are the reserved words, which means already it is reserved. It is a predefined by the Python interpreter and it has a special meaning for Python interpreter. So you can't use that keyword for any other purpose. Okay, so if you want to know how many keywords are there, you just open the ideally, just mention import keyword. You just import the keyword module. After that, I'm mentioning print of keyword dot kw list. So what I'm trying to do is I'm just importing the keyword module and I'm printing keyword from the keyword in the list. So you can see here I'm using the list to print all the keyword. That's what I have mentioned, the variable kw list. So in the form of list, all the keyword will be printing. So you can identify what are the keywords are available in Python. And these are the keyword, you should not use it for any other purpose. For example, if you want to name the variable or if you want to create a class, nothing, you have to use it. And there is a difference between false and none. So you can see here false, F capital, none also N capital and T is a capital. Remaining everything, if you see, everything is a small n character. Is it clear now? What is a keyword and how to identify a keyword? Okay. The next one is the identifier. What is the meaning of identifiers? You are giving the name to your different parts of a program. What is the meaning of different parts? It can be a variable, object, classes, function, etc. But till now we know what is the meaning of variable and function. We are going to learn this year. Okay. So when you want to give a variable means, for example, I want to store value means you will be creating a variable like a or file, anything you will be creating. So this we can call it as an identifier. But when you are creating an identifier, there are certain rules you have to remember. What are the rules? It is a long sequence of letters and digits, which means you can give n number of no, it should be a valid. You should not give 10 line of sentence as a variable. At least a long sequence of letters and digit. It can be any number of line, and it should be having a combination of letters and digit. Okay, the first character must be letter or underscore. Clear? So you have to use a special symbol, only one symbol. Special symbols are what? If you want to use asterisk or dollar symbol, plus, minus, all these are called special symbol. But in that collection of special symbol, you have to use only underscore here. Okay, and that to first character it can be. But in first line I have mentioned you can use a digit also. But when you giving the digit, it should not be the first character. If I am forming like 9, 8 and AB, this is not correct. It is, even though it is a combination of digit and alphabet, but it is not a correct identifier. It is a wrong identifier because it starts with digit. Only it can start with letter or underscore. And capital letter also you can use it, small letter also you can use it. Okay, and uppercase and lower cases are different. For example, when you're mentioning here capital A equal to 100, but when you're trying to print small letter A, it won't identify. You will get the name error, right? Because this small letter A you have not used here. Instead of that, what you used? Capital letter A you used. So these both are having a different meaning. Clear? And the digits 0 to 9 are allowed except for first character. And it must not be the keyword. As we discussed, right, lot of keyword. So it should not be the keyword. Okay, but there is a trick here. Okay, I will tell you the trick when I'm doing the program. No special characters are allowed other than underscore is allowed. Even the space also it is not allowed. For example, if I'm giving the variable name as hello, yeah, if I'm giving the space in between this word, this also is not allowed. Clear now? And space also all not allowed. Now let's see. You have to identify what is a valid identifier from the following. So Python, it is following the rule. Yeah, it starts with alphabet only, and it is completely the alphabet. No special symbols are there, no any space or nothing is there. So this is a valid. Python underscore 123. Is this a valid? Yes, this is also valid because underscore, only the underscore is allowed from the special symbol, and it can be a digit also. This is also allowed. What about this? All are capital letter. Is this allowed? Yes, this is also allowed. 23 Pyth. Is this allowed? Even though it is a combination of alphabet and number, but it starts with number, so it is not allowed. What about underscore py2? Yes, you can start with underscore. It is allowed. What about this? True. Do you remember? I told you, right? True is a keyword. But in T in keyword, it is a capital. But here I have given as a small letter. Is it allowed? Just check. Then false. Is this allowed? No, it is not allowed because the first letter is a capital. It is a keyword. It is not allowed. What about input? So do you remember? Input function we will be using. So don't get confused with function and keyboard. Keyword only is not allowed. Function it is allowed. And Python space 2. Space is not allowed. Okay. Now let's see this 2 it is working or not. One is a true. Another one is a input. I'm giving the variable here as true equal to 10. It is accepting, right? So I am mentioning here true. What is the value? 10. But here what is the true in keyword? It is a capital letter. The same if I am giving as true equal to 10, it is a syntax error. Why? Because you cannot assign to true. It is a keyword. Now understood? The same way DEF, all these are small letter, but if you're trying to give as a capital letter, it will accept as a identifier. And again the function input equal to 20 I am giving. It is accepting because input is not a keyword, it is a function. Function also you can give it as a variable. Understood now everyone? What is the difference? and how to give the identifier. The next one is the literals. What is the meaning of literals? It has a fixed value. So the value will not be changed. But in identifier, the value can be changed every time. Okay. The Python supports several kind of literals. The first one is called a string. What is the meaning of string? There is some word or numerical form, but it should be enclosed with single quote or double quote. That we can call it as a string. You can see the single line command here. I'm opening here single quote and Python I'm using it. And here I'm using the numerical form, but I enclosed with what? Single. So it will be a string only. And double quote also I'm using, and special symbol also I'm using in the double quote. This is also allowed. If you want to check the len, what is the meaning of len here? It is going to identify how many characters are there or what is the length of the string. Okay. And what is the length of the first one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what it has mentioned, 6. And it will include the spaces also. Is it clear? I will show this program here. I'm creating the variable here str equal to, in the single double quote I'm mentioning, Python. Welcome. Now I want to mention len of str. What is the len? Len function to identify the length of the string. I am passing this identifier here. Now you can see 14. Now you can calculate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Space also I am counting. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Clear now? Now, what is the next concept? Multi-line command. What is the meaning of multi-line command? There are two ways you can do the multi-line command. These and all will come in MCQs. Okay. You have to be thorough with the concept. When you are doing the multi-line, there are two methods you can do it. One by using the backslash, another by using the triple quote. Okay. Now let's see. The major difference is the length. To identify the length, it will change it. Okay. Now I am creating the multi-line command with double quote, hi, and I'm using the slash here, and it is going to the next line, and I'm mentioning here Python. Now I'm closing this. Okay, now I want to identify what is the len of s. What is the len of s? It is 8. The same I'm creating here, s1 equal to, I'm using the triple quote now. So hi, then again I'm mentioning here Python. Now I'm closing the triple quote. Now you can check len of s1. You can see there is a change. One character is extra. Why? Because here if you are using the backslash, it won't be counting. So only the character is counting. But when you are using the triple quote, the enter also will be counting. Because hi, after hi you have pressed enter here. That also will be counting. That's what your answer is 9. So this is the difference you should know. Okay, the next concept is numeric literals. What is the meaning of numeric literals? Here you can see there are 3 types of numerical literals. One is an integer. Next one floating point. Third one is a complex number. What is the meaning of integer? It will accept the negative infinite to positive infinite, all the numbers, and it should not be a decimal point. But floating point, it should have a decimal point. This is the difference between integer and floating point. But in integer, it will accept the octal value also, hexadecimal value also. And what about the complex number? Complex number, the first one we can call it as a real number, and second one we can call it as a imaginary value. How can you get? We are going to see now octal, hexadecimal and complex number. Now let's see. I want to know what is the octal value. So you have to mention 0056. What is the number? 46. The equivalent of this 46 is a binary number. And if you want to check the hexadecimal conversion, you have to mention 0x and 78. Now you have to get it is a 120. Clear? Is this way you will be identifying. And if I'm mentioning x equal to 1 plus aj, this is my complex number, aj. Now if I'm mentioning x dot real then it will give you 1.0, and x dot imag you have to give, it will give 8.0. Now is this way you can access the complex number. I hope, is it clear everyone? Okay, the next one, Boolean value. What is the meaning of Boolean value? It will give either true or false only. It will give you the value. Okay, mainly it will be using to check the condition. For example, here x equal to 6, y equal to 8. Print x is greater than y. Is it x is greater than y? No, it is not. So it will print false. What is a special literal? Special literal is nothing but the none. And none is indicating the absence of value. So it is not a zero value, but it is the absence of value. Clear now? So these are the numeric literals. Next one is the operators. What is the operators? It will perform some operation, right? So there are different operators are available. The first one is the arithmetic. Arithmetic, you know, that's all the basic arithmetic. Only difference is addition, you know, subtraction, multiplication. But here what is the division only? We are using the two. One is the first, if you are using the slash, what it will be happening? 10 slash 5. What it will provide? It will provide the quotient of this number, which means 2, it will give you the answer. But the same way, if you are mentioning 10, this is not a percentage, we can call it as a module. So module 5, if you are mentioning, what it will give? It will give you the remainder. What is the remainder? It is a 0 is a remainder. And this one is the exponent of the value. Okay, I will show you the example. So I am giving a equal to 10 and b equal to 6. Now I am giving a by b. What is the value? It will give us a quotient, and it also will be the floating point, right? And if I am giving a module b, what it will give? It will give you the remainder. Okay, and if I am giving a double slash, what is the meaning? You can just check. If I am giving a double slash b means it is giving the quotient in the form of integer value. So this we can call it as a floor division. So the floor division always will give you as an integer. Without decimal point, you will get the quotient. Clear? So this is the three way we are going to do with the division. One is a normal division. The normal, whatever the answer with the floating point, it will come. For that you have to use one slash. Remainder, if you want to find, you have to use the percentage symbol, that we can call it as a module. And the third one we can call it as a floor division. Double slash you have to use it. It will give the quotient in the form of integer value. It will avoid all the decimal point. Okay. Now the next one is a relational operator. Relational operator, by using the sign you are going to check whether it is equal or greater than or less than, everything. Here the main thing you have to remember is double equal to. So when you are assigning the value a equal to 5, what is a equal to 5? You are assigning the value 5 to a, right? But when you are checking a equal to 5 means you are going to check whether the value of a is equal to 5 or not. Clear now? What is the difference between single equal to and double equal to? And what is the last one? Not equal to. You are going to check. Next one is the logical operator. This is also very important, and or not you will be using. So here I am going to show you how the logical operators will work. For example, if the value of x and y I am mentioning, and x and y, this you have to mention the small letter. Okay. In case 0 means what? If the condition, you are checking the condition. If the condition is false, and again why the condition is false means the result of and value also will be false. Clear now? And the same way, the condition is in x condition if it is false, and y condition if it is true, the result will be false only. Again, the x condition is true and the y condition is false, the result is false. And x condition and y condition, if it is true only, the x and y will be true. Okay, so here the AND will be giving all priority to the false value. If one value, if it is false, then the complete answer will be false only. It is the opposite is OR. If any one value, if it is false, not a problem. It will give true only as the answer. But both the values are false, then the result will be false. And what is the next one is a not operator. What is a not operator means? If the x value is 0, the not is nothing but x naught is nothing but it will give you the opposite of it, 1. If x value is 1 means x naught is 0. Clear now? Now let's see, I will give you the example. I'm giving here x equal to 10, y equal to 5, z equal to 50. Now I'm checking the condition. X is greater than y and x is greater than z. X is greater than z. Now see the condition here. X is greater than y. What is x is? 10 is greater than 5. The condition is true. And x is greater than z. If 10 is greater than 50, the condition is false. Now what is the result? It has to come according to the and. It should come as false. Understood? Now the same way I am giving x is greater than y or x is greater than z. Now you can see you will get the result as true. Why? Because in false, both the conditions should be true. Then only your final result will be true. Otherwise, it is false. But here, any one condition if it is false also, no problem. But both the condition if it is false, then only your final answer will be false. Is it clear how and or will be working? Okay. The next concept is operators. I am going to check identity. What is the meaning of identity? It will be checking is and is not. Whether it will be holding the same memory location or not, it is going to check. For example, I am giving the value x equal to 10, y equal to 10. So both are having the same number. If I am mentioning x is y, identity x is y, it will give you the answer as true. Now again I am changing the value here, y equal to 20. Now I want to check now, x is y, it will give you the answer as false. Why? Because I changed the value 10 to 20. It is not holding the same memory location. In Python, if the values are same, it will be holding the same memory location. If you are changing the value, then the memory location also will be changing. Now again if I am mentioning x is not y, the answer is true. Yes, x is not y, it is not holding the same memory, right? But now if I am mentioning y equal to, again I am changing it to 10. Now x is not y, then it is false because x and y are holding the same value. Now everyone has understood what is the meaning of identity operator. Next one is the assignment operator. As of now I said, when you're giving value to the variable, that we can call it as the assignment. By using the equal to, you're assigning the value to the variable. The next one is a membership operator. What is the meaning of membership operator? In and not in, which means it is going to check whether the particular element is present in the list, tuple, etc. I hope last year we had discussed how do you create a list and tuple. Again, I will tell you, if you want to create a list, you just mention one variable name. I am mentioning here li equal to, list means you have to use square bracket. I started with the element 1, 2, 3. So there are 3 elements are present in the list. Now if I am mentioning 3 in li, it will give you the answer as true. Why? Because the 3 element is present in the list. If I am mentioning 6 in li, it will give you the answer as false because the element 6 is not present in the li. The same way if I am mentioning 2 not in li, it will give you false because 2 is there in li, right? And 2 in li, 6 or 7 not in li, it will give you true because 7 not in li, right? The same thing you can use it for the tuples. Just quickly I will revise. Tuples, you have to again create a variable and you have to use what? Normal bracket, and you can mention the element 3, 4, 5. It also works with a tuple. So I'm mentioning here 5 in T, it will give you true. 6 not in T, it will give you also true. Clear now? Okay. Next one is the arithmetic assignment. What is the meaning of arithmetic assignment? Is, for example, I'm giving the value as A equal to 10. After that, I'm mentioning A equal to A plus 10. What is the meaning of it? What is the value of A now? A plus 10, which means 10 plus 10 equal to 20. Instead of giving this, you are just replacing with A plus equal to. The operator should come first. After that, the equal to should come, then 10. So this question, mostly they will ask in MCQ, what is the right way? Whether you are going to, or identifying the error type, they will ask you. So you have to always remember the operator should come first, then only the equal to sign will come. Then whatever the value you are assigning, that value or variable, anything. Is it clear now how to do the arithmetic assignment? The same way you have to use it with minus, into, exponent, all the arithmetic operation you have to do the same thing. Next, what is a bitwise? And this one and all, it will calculate in the bitwise operator. The next concept is the punctuators. What are the punctuators? As I told you, if you're mentioning comma, colon, everything we can call it as a token. So including the punctuators. These are the used to organize sentence structures and expression. So these are the backbones of Python program. So multi-line commands. This, when I'm explaining the program, I will explain to you. What is the meaning of variable? So variable is like a container that stores value. You can access or change it, right? I'm giving the variable like a identifier. It is just storing the value and you can use it for any calculation purpose or printing purpose, anything. But here always remember the variable should be on the LHS and value should be on the RHS. This type of question also they will ask to identify the error. If they give 100 equal to A, is it correct? No, it's not correct. Why? Because the variable always should come on the LHS side only. Clear now? Now, here the Python variables are not stored container like other programming. Now, look at the example here. It is a C++. Here I am giving the radius as 100 and what is the memory address? 41260. And again I am changing the address to 500. The value 100 to 500 I am changing and the radius value. Now also the memory address will be same only. But here when I am changing the value, it will change the memory address. That's what the concept of identity operator we used. We used, remember, if x equal to 10 and y equal to 10, x is y means the both are holding the same memory address. If I am giving the value a equal to 100, this also will be storing here only. Clear now? So when you are changing the value, the address also will change in Python. But in other languages, it won't change it. What is the meaning of dynamic typing? It is a variable pointing to a value of a certain type that can be made to value or object of different type. For example, I am assigning the x equal to 100. What is this data type? It is an integer data type. It's a numerical form, right? After that, I am changing x equal to Python. I am changing the value of x equal to Python. It is called string data type. Now again, x equal to 134.5. This is what data type? Floating point data type. So x is a variable. Initially it is holding what? Integer. Then I change to string. Then finally it will be the floating point. This way we can call it as a dynamic typing. But what is the caution you have to do it with dynamic typing? Ensure with the correct operations during the dynamic typing. So for example, this x equal to 100. Y equal to x by 2. What is the x by 2? 100 by 2. What is the answer you got it? 100 by 2 is the print of y means it will give you 50 as a result, right? But here x equal to welcome. Y equal to, I am changing the x value to welcome now. What is the form now? String value. Y equal to x by 2. What is x by 2 here? That is, you can't do string by 2, right? So it will give you the, what error? Type error it will give you. Because you are not assigning the right value here. Correct? So you can't do the division of string by 2. So you should be cautious with the dynamic typing. And what is the meaning of static versus dynamic typing? The same way, in static typing, data is attached with a variable when it is defined first and it is fixed. So for example, in other languages like C++, int a, you have going to declare the data type and the variable together, and a you are supposed to give only 10. You can't give a equal to welcome. How in Python we keep on changing, a first will hold the integer, next it will hold the string, like that you can't change it here. So but in dynamic typing you can change it. That is the difference between static versus dynamic. Now what is the meaning of multiple assignment? See, now look at the example, assigning the same value to the multiple variable. Here I am creating three variable, a equal to b equal to c, 10. So what is the value of a? 10 only, b also 10, c also 10. Is this way you can create multiple variable to one value. Assigning multiple value to the multiple variable. How do you create that? A, B, C. You are creating here three variable, and three variable you are assigning. How it will be assigning? A value will take the first one, 10. B value will take second one. C value will take 30. Clear now? And you can see here, print of A, it is printing 10. Print of B, 20. Print of C, 30. But if I am mentioning print of A, C, B, C, it is forming the tuple now. Create this type of question also will come in the final exam. How A, B, C, if they are mentioning in the bracket, the final result also will come in the tuple format. If it is a one variable, it will provide the normal value. But in the same way, for example, I will show it in the ideally. If I am giving A equal to 10, A, B, C equal to 10, 20, 30. This is what I have mentioned. But now, what is the value of A? 10 it is providing. If I am mentioning bracket A, B, C, it will give you in the form of tuple. If I am mentioning here again 10, okay, A equal to 10, I am mentioning. Now if I am mentioning A, again it is forming in the form of tuple only. After the numerical, if you are mentioning comma, by default it will consider as a tuple. That's what your result also will be, a tuple. Understood now? Make sure that they will ask you these type of error question. Okay. Anyway, I'll be discussing with you all the type of identifying the error, what is the output question before the exam or after the chapter finishing. Next one is the input function. What is the meaning of input function? It is going to take the value from the user and you are going to print it, right? So by default, if you are using the input function, it will take a string as a data type. But if you want to change the data type to integer or floating point, you have to mention int of input of. Okay, now let's see the example here. Now I am creating the variable here, n equal to input of enter. I am mentioning here enter. So if I am mentioning enter here, if I am mentioning 1, 2, 3, what it is accepting. But what is the n value here? 1, 2, 3. It is forming the string. How can you identify string? Because it is start with single quote and end with single quote. Now if you want to check what is the data type of it, then you have to mention type of n. What is the type of n? It is a class str. Clear now? Now, if you want to change it to integer, how do you mention? N equal to int of input of enter the value. Now clear? Now enter the value, I'm mentioning as 10. Now if you want to check type of n, what is the value now? Integer. Clear now? The same thing if you want to get for floating, you will be mentioning float of input of enter the value. So this is what the input function will use. Now next one, the same thing I had discussed here. And what is the meaning of implicit and explicit conversion? This is also a very important concept. What is the meaning of implicit? Here the variable a is 10, b is 5 and C equal to A by B. Print of C is 2.0. So all these two variables, and it is holding what? Integer value. But your result is in floating point. So this is called the implicit conversion. It is done by the Python interpreter. Whenever if you are giving the integer value, but after the calculation, if it is your result got in the form of floating point, the interpreter will do that. That we can call it as an implicit conversion. What is the explicit conversion? You can check here. A equal to 10.5 floating point, B equal to 5. What is A plus B? I am mentioning here explicitly. I want only the integer as a value. So you have to mention int of C. What it will be giving? Only 15. It is not giving 15.5. Why? Because you have mentioned here, I want the output should be in the form of integer. Clear now? What is the implicit will be done by the interpreter itself. Explicitly, as a programmer, we have to do explicitly. What is the print function will do? Print function will print the value. But in case if you are giving the print, you have to use the double quote also, or it is holding the value and you are printing the variable. And you can do the calculation also. 5 into x. What is the value of x? 10. So 250. And hi welcome, end equal to at means in end value you will be getting at. And slash t means tab, slash n means to the next line. So there are different way of print function can be used. I hope everyone is clear with the concept. I will stop this session here. So soon I will upload the next session. So please subscribe my channel and click the bell icon. If you have any queries, please put your question in your comment box. I will reply to you. Thank you so much.